Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You're live on ABS TV. Thank you for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special program today. We're going to be talking about a whole lot of issues from the ban of election in Ambazonia to the visit of the French ambassador to BAMENDA, and also some confessions from one of those guys from DDR Center who exposes the DDR Center, the scheme of imprisonment, semi-imprisonment of Ambazonian restoration forces called DDR Center. We're also going to be talking much about mefo, who also backtracks from his from her reporting about the Cambe 11 February killings, and we're going to be talking also about very important about what we want to do with the ban of the election in Ambazonia. And we have a very special panelist today to talk all this. And I know SOS Mike Fusi is there to back up the panelists. Also, we have Honorable Sama Thomas, who is with us today. And if you're ready, I know they're going to be coming up, and let's start the show. Thank you for watching. This is Face the People. Thank you for watching. Sama Thomas, Honorable Sama Thomas. If Honorable Sama Thomas is not ready, I know Mike Fusi will be ready. SOS Mike Fusi, are you ready? Yeah, I can see SOS Mike Fusi there. SOS Mike Fusi, can you introduce yourself?
Mike Fusi, what more can I say? You will have to excuse me. I'm on the road. I had to make a quick stop by somewhere here just to be part of the show today. I hope you bear with me.
Yeah, thank you for joining, despite your busy schedule. You are still there for the people, to serve the people. Thank you for that wonderful gesture. Yes, like I said, we're gonna start with the issue of the killings that happened in the 11th of February in Cambe, and from that incident, we saw that the mefo news agency rushed to conclusion that the Ambazonian restoration fighters were involved in that incident. So this is the continuous fake news that we get when it comes to the struggle from mefo, or we have some other paid newspapers in or media houses that are reporting fake news about the struggle. But this one and many others are a clear evidence of what is happening in this struggle, where anything that happened, any killing, any burning, any Scotch Earth policy is attributed to the Ambazonian restoration forces. Whereas at the end of the day, you get the facts from the matter. Comrade Mike Fusi, can you give your own take on this?
Of course, of course. You know, and that is the problem we are dealing with in this struggle because the quick assumption when something happens is that, especially something bad that happens, is that the Ambazonian restoration fighters did it. But then it always turns out that further investigations will reveal that Republic Cameroon, in their desperate attempt at painting us black in order to portray us as criminals and a bunch of terrorists, as they would like to call us, in the eyes of the international community, they want to do these things and then throw it at us. You know, shamefully, even the Ngabo massacre, can you believe that they even tried to put it on us, despite the fact that the evidence was quite clear that they did it? Other incidents are the Kumba school shootings. They also tried to put it on us, but eventually it was proven that they did it. Talk about the Kumba hospital burning, the Manfe hospital burning. We can name, there's so many of them. They try to do it. They send their DDR centers to go and burn the Manfe hospital, kill a bunch of people in order to give a bad image of the Ambazonian restoration fighters. And we have seen this time and time and time again. So what Mimi Mefo did is not different from what they've done before. But having said that, I'll give her the credit, though, that she had the courage to come back and admit that now it is clear that the Republic of Cameroon paid agents carry out the killings in Kambe. At least she has the courage to come out and say it. La Republic of Cameroon media outlets will not do that. We are still waiting for the other Equinox and Media Prime and others. We are waiting for them to come out and also express the fact that their own reporting was wrong on this issue. So that's where we are. We always are assumed to be the worst until it is proven otherwise. That has been the case. And the funny thing is that they don't seem to have learned from this to know that, okay, when something happens, maybe we should take some time and investigate before making any assumptions. They are always quick to throw it at us and then later to retract. For those that have the
but yes, SOS. But let's look at also at this point of journalistic ethics. We are journalists. We are reporters. We are people who have to give credible information to the public. And when you have a media house like of that magnitude that people rely on, and you go around and having that conflict of interest, failing to verify the credible information, they failing to identify your probable sources of information. Is this not lack of accountability on the part of journalism?
Well, that is what you would expect, right? But is that what happens? It is not what happens, because what you understand is that in this struggle, people come in with their own personal biases. All right. So they're reporting. A normal reporter is supposed to investigate the news and report for the sake of presenting the facts of the case as they are. But when you already are coming in with an agenda, you are thinking and your actions are already skewed by the result you want to present. You see, so you are trying to portray a certain narrative. So the evidence you are looking for is to support the assumptions that you already have made, or the case that you want to present. Like a lawyer, even when you know a lawyer knows that the client is guilty, their objective is to make sure that the client is acquitted, right? So everything the lawyer is doing is to make sure that the client is acquitted, despite the fact that he knows he's guilty. So that is how journalists in La Republic Cameroon operate. They are not coming in with a clean mind to say, okay, something has happened here. Let us find out what happened and present the facts to the public as we know them. That is not what happens in the Republic of Cameroon. It's not what
Yeah.
happens. So people
And
simply come in to the evidence they are looking for is to support their assumptions or the biases they already have in favor of or against one of the parties.
and you mentioned various happenings, the Manfe massacre, the Ngabu massacre, but we don't see any consequences. Now that we know that, okay, now that we know that it's Ngala Gerard's vigilante group that did it, what is the consequences on the Ngala Gerard guy? This guy is run as a MP in La Republique, right? But now he's still running out free. There's no consequences of anything. So what kind of rule of law do you say is there?
What consequences are you asking for now, Comrade Fritz? What consequences are you asking for? There were videos during that period of Ngala Gerard sharing money in public. You don't do that. Even no matter what, you don't come out in public and dish out money to people like that. That's corruption, pure and clear. He should have been persecuted for that alone. You don't do that because when you do that, you are trying to influence the public to act in a certain way. And that is not allowed. It is not allowed. It is clear now. And we saw him again in another video with a box full of money addressing some people who were supposed to go out and carry out maybe some other fictitious activities, criminal activities in favor of him and in favor of what they were trying to present to their masters in Yaoundé. Who is supposed to hold who accountable here? When the people who are supposed to hold him accountable are very much in support of what he is doing or he was doing. So you cannot expect accountability. First of all, accountability you expect it in a country that respects the rule of law. How many people have done terrible things in that country and just walked away? You remember this guy who masterminded the killing and dismemberment of a journalist in Yaoundé? They almost released him of recent, right? It was only the outcry from the public that caused them to walk back on it. So imagine when things like that happen, then what kind of justice do you expect? On the contrary, he will be promoted. That is what happens in La Republique. He will be promoted. Just watch out for the next so-called appointments, ministerial appointments in La Republique. Ngala Gerard may be amongst because of the good work he's doing, corrupting the people and causing people, sending these talks to go out and carry out acts of criminality and murder. And he will be awarded and rewarded. He will be rewarded for that with some appointment, which is all they want.
Yes, but man, just okay. Let's look at it in this way: of either you go to the market square and you are sharing money to the people, instead of you trying to empower the people to be independent, to have their own way of entrepreneurship. These are the people who go about causing all this havoc, using his vigilante group and go and do these bombings. Just like Atanganji boys, they're doing the same thing. And they'll attribute it just to give a bad name to the Ambazonian restoration fighters, freedom fighters. You know, they're the one going to bribe the people in the market square, giving them money openly. I mean, this is really shameful to see this happening in broad daylight, in open corruption happening in broad daylight. And this is what we are condemning, you know, when we see our people being manipulated by these selfish and greedy politicians, you know, to being beggars. You know, becoming beggars is a modus, operandi of these people, you know, trying to beg for little crumbs during this period. And Ngala Gerard was doing this to ask the people to go and march. You know, I don't know if this 11 February march had anything to do with helping this local population, to give them jobs, to give them opportunities. You know, you rather teach people how to fish than to give them fish. You know what I'm saying? And this is what is going on. The lack of all the basic amenities. Nothing is there. Basic drinking water you don't have.
Chairman Fritz, you are thinking too much. Like you are assuming that those that lead the Republic of Cameroon, those that have accepted to serve under that occultic regime, you are assuming that they have the best interest of people at heart. That is the assumption you are making, which is very wrong. Their motivation is not to see the people have a good standard of living. Their motivation is not to lift the standard of living of the people. That is not what they are out for. Their motivation is to make sure that the people are just alive enough to continue to give them the chance to live their lives. It's like, what can I say? You have a dog. You don't want the dog to die. You just want the dog to be there to continue serving you. But you really don't care about the dog being healthy. They want the people, as much as he is from Kambe himself, he doesn't give a damn about the living standard of the people. That's not what motivates him. And secondly, his motivation again is to show his masters in Yaoundé what a great job he is doing, so that again he will be rewarded. That is what motivates him. His motivation is not to do a great job and make sure that the people go to school, they have good jobs, they have good medical facilities, they have good roads. No, that's not what interests Ngalo Gerard. It is not what interests him. He doesn't care. So that is what we need to understand and stop assuming that these people have any interest in seeing the people live well. What the way you and I see things is not the way they see things. Yeah.
Now let's look at this way. Now that mefo has made it clear and the evidence has come that these La Republic agents have committed all these crimes in Kambe, committed the crimes in Manfi, committed all this genocide. Now we see this guy from DDR Center who is also confessing. You know, so all these are evidence of that La Republic has been using all these guys to commit all this, from Atangaji boys to Ngala Gerard vigilante group, and we have so many of these parliamentarians have their own vigilantes, and they do this to keep committing these atrocities, to put them on the people of Ambazonia. Okay, we are in our land, we are trying to protect our land, and they are coming and committing the crimes using our own people to commit these crimes. So let's talk about this confession of this guy, DDR Center. He's called General Ague. He made it clear that they are the ones committing all these atrocities. He asked for apologies because now he's been shot on the leg, and he found himself now in the Kondengi. Okay, so he is confessing that the DDR Center is a scam, and that this Ngala Gerard and all these people have been using them to go and commit all these crimes. So, Comrade Mike, what do you talk about this?
First of all, I would like to see. I would like to see this other. I don't know. I don't even know what Padia Sanga. All these people. Success. All these people who masterminded this deception, all this other talking head, Nasri Clovis, who has now been their main mouthpiece of the DDR Center. You see, what these people do is, of all of those that have gone to the DDR Center, they have picked maybe one or two or three and make them, they put them on a portrait, right, on a pedestal. And so even when you look at them, you don't see their standard of living to have been any better than it was before, except from the fact that maybe they can wear a clean shirt or something. Look at this young man who was confessing. Look at the state of his living. Look at what he was wearing. Look at his physical appearance. He looks all emaciated. The guy, when you look at him, what he is saying is, you know what? I really don't care whether I live or die right now. Let me just speak the truth because I've seen it all. That is what I read. I've watched the videos, and that is because don't be surprised that tomorrow you hear that the guy has just disappeared for having come out to say the things that he has said. They will certainly kill him. They will kill him. And so the guy is saying these things, knows that this may be the end of me, but I have to say it to save others. But again, on this matter of the DDR Center, we have severally warned these guys that going to the DDR Center, you are simply putting yourself in a pigsty where one day they will take you out and slaughter you. You are putting yourself in a human poultry where they will just keep you there. One day they take you out. Why should someone who submitted himself to the DDR Center be sent to Kondingi? Why? What is he doing at Kondingi? What is he doing there? I thought he should have been maybe going to school or having some kind of apprenticeship, something that will prepare him to be reintegrated into the society. That's what I thought the DDR Center was meant for. But that is not what we have seen. But we had warned them for that, okay, where is this other guy, grandpa of this other guy who recently went there from the Ngokutunja area, who said he was No Pity's brother. There's many of them who have simply gone there and disappeared. You don't know whether they are still alive. You don't know if they are still alive. So it is good that one of them is actually speaking out and saying what we have been saying, and others thought maybe we were just making things up. We have told them that this thing is a bad idea. The DDR Center is much more of a prison, a kind of death row. Let me put it that way. It's a death row where they are keeping you waiting for the time when they will take you out and kill you. Because you cannot imagine that you have been out there killing their fighters, and then you expect that they will take you and keep you there and feed you, and later on give you the resources to establish yourself and live a good life. I mean, you must be very stupid to think that they will do that for you. So I'm not very surprised at what he is saying. Maybe it will now convince those who did not believe before to believe what we've been saying all along.
Yes, you know, just like what you said, this is a normal trend. He said we were fooled, right? We were fooled that the DDR Center will give us jobs, will give us opportunities, will give us all what we want, and they will provide us career orientation, everything that, you know, all the goodies. That we were telling them that La Republique has never been trusted from the time of the failure of the union between us and La Republique. They have taught us a lesson that never you trust them. The government has never been trusted. They have always tell lies to our parents. They fool us during the Fumban conference. They fool us during the fake referendum. They fool us every time of the day. Even when Frundi won elections, they never gave Frundi elections. So this is a trend. How do you believe this kind of government? Okay, so there is nothing that we can trust in this. So we were telling these guys at DDR Center, these guys, we know these guys. Don't go and believe them. They will use you, and dump you. That's the modus operandi of La Republique government. Now, look at Nambere. Or these are the example of people who were very wise enough to go there and do their part and just escape to Nigeria. Okay, La Republique, you never trust, because they almost killed Nambere. Nambere was so wise to leave. You know, yes. So you going to DDR Center is a semi-prison.
Yeah, you know. Who is
my name's Ague Joel. Sorry.
member of the DDR
That came in.
committee
I hope,
commission. Will be joined for the year
yeah, I hope I'm still
2020.
on.
No, hold on. Let them play it a little bit.
Today,
They are playing
my
it. Yes.
brothers and sisters, fellow Anglophones, way when I don't see me for media, what I don't talk, I don't do video, I don't do sensitization against the Ambazonia revolution. My purpose to come today, so I come apologize for my brothers, my sisters, for the Ambazonia revolution, for the atrocities and way the La Republic government they don't use me for against my own people them. And why I dey come today so na because the situation where me I don't find myself inside today, I no be ever believe say I go fit people they go fit deal with me and then they force me to do things and then even up to then say they will still promise me say I will leave. But today I find myself say then pick me then throw am for prison. The same people then way they say they will promise me, they will do me this one, they will do me that for the DDR commission. Today I don't find myself for prison. So I decide myself to do this video where I did do one today. And one for inside the video, I the one talk for my brothers them for the citizens in the way that they plan for say they want join for the struggle for help for restore the country back where they don't be misled for tell them so for give them the apology for the misled we don't mislead them for tell them say DDR this where they call am DDR no to know the DDR way if benefit una DDR they open DDR for the fact for say they want to say muna scatter wetin una bron bill am una leave una mami dem una papa dem wey dey be cry for una for 2016 we say muna stand give dem independence because of the politics they use DDR now as a political point for scatter am. Me I be comot go for DDR I be know say the way they be talk say they go give we work they go give we freedom money and everything but when I reach a DDR I discover say DDR na another form of distraction. These are the video winner for distract we and they don't make we for that same DDR they don't make we most of we will go for the DDR they don't make we key innocent fighter them they don't make we point civilian the way they didn't for guard for radar mostly civilian the way they did for give information them to our brothers the way they inside bush they don't catch them but the one they want don't be part and for the one they want never be part for the but I know say now wait till that way don't happen because some of the activities and they don't use me for the I want to talk for una say DDR if any fighter we talk say you don't tire for come up with sorry for we don't tire say one rest you go for ground one for Nigeria no be for La Republic because na scam I dey for here today for the very point I no get nothing wey I don benefit am but I get prison yes I get prison I dey make the video today so with my own opinion and for help because say Fusa Wade e no fit me e no be fitting for me. Secondly the struggle wey e be e still be form as e be for I dey give una the call dey say una fight for the independent way they will be base for fight for and for whole Ambazonia me stand strong for say una believe una independent because e go be no matter how long una fight am no matter how long e be una go get no. Thank you.
Wow. That is Ague Joel, one of the key speakers, key leaders in one of the generals who went to DDR Center. He was there for almost how many years? But now he's giving his own confession. And this has been a trend in all those who went to DDR Center. And I just want to pick out some few points of his statement there, his short statement while in Kondengi. He said they were asked to go and commit atrocities. Okay, the Malfe massacre, all this massacre that have been going on. They will say, oh, it's the Amber Boys. These are the guys who went and did all these things. The burning of the hospitals, the burning of the markets, burning of anything that you know about. If it's not the military, it was part of these DDR boys who went and were doing all these atrocities. pointing innocent civilians to be killed, pointing innocent civilians to be arrested. These were their job in DDR Center. It has nothing to do with providing them future for their careers, providing them a basic living standard, nothing like that. Because he said there were no benefit. He had no benefit of staying in DDR Center while they were only using them. So it was a scam, as he said. It was a scam. And then his last statement, he said the struggle continues. That the struggle for the independence of Ambazonia, you guys should not relent your effort. Because he said all what these people are doing to them or doing to us is just to fool us. And they were fooled. So, ladies and gentlemen, if our panel is still there, I don't know if Honorable Sama Thomas is there. Honorable Sama Thomas, are you there? I don't think Honorable Sama Thomas is there. SOS Mike Fusi, your take on this brief comment from Ague Joel, who used to be a general.
Well, I feel sorry for him. Honestly, I honestly feel sorry for him that this is certainly a young man who was deceived, manipulated, and he is only realizing the mess he got himself into. But those that took him into this place are long gone. They received their pay for what they did, and they abandoned him and walked away. And now he is wallowing in misery. He finds himself in jail, and he doesn't know how he got there. Now, in general terms, looking at other DDR inmates, anyone who went to the DDR Center after Nambere went there and left, I have no sympathy for you. I don't know how long this young man has been there. Because when you saw that people like Nkongo Success went there, flirted around, and took off as if they landed in a frying pan. Nambere came and took off. Others came and took off. You should know that that place is not what it is said to be. People like Padia Sanga, who came, we had phone conversations of him trying to convince young men to surrender. They themselves were not willing to go and stay there, but they are convincing others to go there. What were they doing? They were simply contractors. These people were contractors. What's this other guy who was with Padia Sanga doing this thing? He's always floating around Yaoundé.
Right.
What is his name again?
They are
the ones that are. Then Jermaine Franklin, first of all, he is done. You heard him recently lamenting that he wants to be able to go back to his village. There are people in the La République Cameroon government who do not want the war to end, but he is frustrated. He is tired. He's just like another DDR inmate, right? Because he finds himself there and he does not know how to get out. He does not know how to get out. So, as I was saying, I have no sympathy for anyone who will still allow himself or herself to be deceived by La République Cameroon. What more do you need to see to know that you cannot trust these people? How many times would they have to deceive us again? Do we have to go recounting the number of promises they have made that have not been kept? Chairman Fritz, you remember when we were growing up, from time to time you see people will come out and they'll mark houses on the street. They'll say, oh, they are coming to tar this road. They'll mark houses and say, this house will be demolished. There's a road that will go through here. After that, nothing. Time and time again, we saw that. The ring road, nothing. Mention Falls, we'll build it. They never built it. Victoria Deep Sea Port, that has never been done. What? Decentralization, it was never done. Promise after promise after promise. Oh, they'll make the various regions autonomous so that you don't go to Yaoundé again to chase dossiers. That has never been done. What more do you need to see to know that these people cannot keep their word? So when they say you come to the DDR Center, we will make your life better, knowing that you have killed their soldiers. And you carry your stupid head and you march there, you go and give your neck, and they put a chain around your neck, and they put chains around your feet, and you start crying. We cannot help you now.
Let's welcome Chairman Patrick, who is here with us, and let's listen a little bit from Chairman Patrick. Chairman Patrick, you're welcome to the show.
I think his audio is not on.
Oh, the audio, the sound system is not.
He probably just needs to turn it on.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, 5 on 5.
All right. Again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to join you on this show today. And thank you to Chairman Mike. It's always an honor to get the Ambazonian people uplifted about what we are fighting for and to get them to understand that this is a fight that we have to win.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Before you came, we were talking about the issue of misinformation that most of the media are sending out there, and paid agents from La République, those paid media from La République, like the one of mefo and the CNA, the Cameroon News Agency, and all those paid newspapers who just spew out venoms all the time about the Ambazonians' trouble. But the recent one is a killing in Cambe that mefo said, oh, it wasn't done by the Ambazonian fighters, as she reported that it was done by the vigilante group of the so-called parliamentarian, Ngala Gerard. So what do you have to say about this revelation by mefo?
The reality here is we Ambazonians, we do not kill our own people. We do not have any intention to put any pain on our own citizens. So La République is manipulating every information to see how they can get the world to look at Ambazonian to look at Ambazonians like they don't know what they're doing. But unfortunately, mefo can be paid as much as she can. They have to learn from what has been going on for the past 8 years, that Ambazonians are steadfast. We know what we're doing. We know what information that we're putting out there, and we know how to make sure our people are safe. mefo and Galajera and whoever can put whatever information out there, we do not care, because we have learned for 60 years that La République du Cameroon is a failed state. They cannot keep their words. And if anybody is sitting there and watching all these news agencies, they pay people. They even pay people to come out on the street and march on 20th May. They pay people to do every little thing to put out the image of La République. So whatever they think they are doing, they are just fooling themselves, and they are wasting their time, because a solution is going to come out on our own terms.
Yeah, thank you. Then we also touched about the consequences on these guys who are involved. There's no consequences. People commit crimes, people commit atrocities, but they go scot-free. Someone like Ngala Gerard, whose vigilante group is involved in this killing in Cambe, is still going about doing his business, and there's no consequences for him to be locked up or to, then all these guys from DDR Center giving all these revelations, how they were the one who went to Manfi, they went to all these areas and commit these atrocities. So what do you have to say about that?
Comrade, I think people should have learned that in a fair state, individuals do whatever they want to do, and nobody's going to hold them accountable. We have a clear example of what La République citizens did to Martin Ezego, the journalist that was killed in Yaoundé. They have live videos of the killing, the torture, and nobody is even raising a finger to say, oh, why can a human being be treated like this? So Ngala Gerard, at this particular point, He has nobody to report to. He's done what he was paid to do. And he thought he was doing this so that he can project his image as somebody who is fighting to make sure La République du Cameroon is looked upon like a really credible government. But unfortunately, Ambazonia, I will go back to the fact that Ambazonians know what they are doing. And Galajera, they can play every game. We have seen it all. There's nothing new that they can do that can even give us any iota of understanding that La République is going to get up one day and do the right thing. That, oh, somebody did something wrong to the Amazonian people, or in the Amazonian land, they can hold them accountable. Look at Garibo, look at Manfe, look at Bali. Has anybody ever been held accountable? If you look at today, the United States is putting sanctions on Israel, one of the toughest allies, because of some of the killings that have happened in Gaza. That is how a society is supposed to work. When you do the right thing, you are praised for it. When you do the wrong thing, you are punished. So those are things that we have seen that in La République, they do not have a sense of direction. They don't understand that people are going to be held accountable for whatever they do wrong. But the only thing they do is find a way to tag Ambazonians as terrorists to get the sympathy of the international community. But unfortunately, this is not going to work. And I'm sure you must have talked about what the French ambassador was doing in Bamenda the other day. That is exactly what they have looked at Cameroonians. I'm not talking about Ambazonia, Cameroonians as fools. When the French population came up on the streets because of the raise of when they raised the age limit to retire in France, people came out on the street. They were burning, all kind of protests, but the government was able to sit down with the leaders and got this result. They themselves are in Cameroon manipulating Cameroonians to believe that they want to do development in Ambazonia when they do not even have a road in Yaoundé. But the people are thinking, oh, France care about us. So some of these things, this manipulation, we have all gone past that, and we are not going to fall for any of this nonsense.
Yeah, you mentioned the French ambassador visit to Bamenda. You know, first of all, I want us to understand that guy is a general in the army, sent to be an ambassador, because he's coming for a mission. He's not coming for peace. He's not coming for reconstruction. He's not coming for decentralization or whatever I call it. He's coming to continue the war. Because remember, Cameroon, like all the other 14 African countries, signed the pact, the 11-point pact, the colonial pact that Cameroon must respect, you know, and he's coming just to make sure that they fulfill that pact. He's not coming to help the people of Bamenda. He's not coming to reconstruct Bamenda, like he said. You know, look at the anti-French sentiment across Africa today. In Niger, they have sent France out. In Burkina Faso, they have sent French out. In Mali, they have sent the French out because they have no benefit to the local population. Rather than coming to impose their French franc and their militarization of the area. So, Chairman Mike, are you there? If you are there, can you give your take about this French ambassador visit to Bamenda?
First of all, I feel very offended. Yes, I feel very offended when I see this criminal putting on our traditional attire. He does not deserve to put on this attire that is meant for novels. These are people. When we talk about deception, how many times do these people need to deceive us for us to be wise? So the French have been managing, directing, micromanaging all the affairs of that country for the past close to 60 years and above, right? And it is just now, it just occurred to them now that they can come and give us some developmental projects. And there are people who believe them because there's an election that coming up. They want us to believe that they will come and develop Bamenda. I mean, it makes me feel so sorry for our people, especially those who are still gullible enough to believe these people. Do you really think that there will be any development after this election in Bamenda? When we saw videos of Yaoundé trash on the streets, they cannot even pick their own trash in Yaoundé, the capital of La République du Cameroon. Then they will come and develop Bamenda. And there are people who are still gullible enough to believe that. It's so sad. I don't even know what to say. Like I said, I wish someone could set fire on this traditional attire on this criminal. Let him know that he's not wanted there. Who even put this attire on him in Bamenda? I didn't even watch the whole thing. We cannot allow. I mean, imagine what these people think when they come and we adorn them with these things. When they go back, what do you think they are thinking of us? Do you think they see us as wise people? As people who are smart enough to see the manipulation that they are coming along with? They say, oh, they must be thinking to themselves, these people are so foolish. They still believe that we are going to develop Bamenda, even at this point in time, when we are the ones sponsoring La République du Cameroon, giving Pobia all the weapons to kill their people, and they still believe that we'll come and develop their territory. They must be very stupid. That is what he is thinking in his mind. When they are putting the attire on him, he said, look at these fools. They are dressing me up. They think I'm their friend. They really think I'm their friend. These are the thoughts that are going through the mind of this man as they are giving him all these honors and glory for the deception that he's bringing. Because that's all he's bringing, deception. Nothing. There is nothing there. Absolute nothing. So I don't know what you want me to say here, Chairman Fritz. It's so sad.
Yes.
I don't know when our people wake up and realize there is one thing that we have to continue to educate our people. That each time they see a white man, they think that they have seen a good person. You know, I'm sorry to say this and to blanket it white man because it is a white man that represents the governments abroad that is bad, not every ordinary white man per se. I'm not saying every white man is bad, but the governments that these white men represent have no good intentions for Africa. They need to understand that. All these governments that send their representatives in Africa, they don't have any good intentions of Africa. Any of them. Their goal is to hold Africa at a certain level of development at a point where they will not advance to a stage where they will start needing the raw materials that are in their land, because these raw materials, they see these raw materials as good for their own economies, but not good for Africa. So these people are not coming here to Africa because they like us. No, they're coming because of what they get from Africa. We need to understand that. And stop hoping that they will come and help us. Help you for what? They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about the animals in your forest more than they care about you. That's why you need to understand. They don't care about your life.
Chairman, okay, let's look at it this way, right? Now, he came to Bamenda. The Mezam Restoration Forces declared lockdown. That is reasonable, because when these kind of people are coming to our territory, that is when we need lockdown. We don't need lockdown when giving those 1 month lockdown and all those things when nothing is happening. We need lockdowns when these kind of people are coming to our territory to tell them that we don't need them in our territory. Okay, Chairman Patrick, you saw the visit. You saw that there was lockdown in that area, but yet it wasn't really that successful, though the Mezam forces had some lockdown. So what do you talk about this lockdown? The lockdown given by ADF, 1 month lockdown, and continuous lockdown for when nothing is happening, and they are giving lockdown when there's nothing happening. But when people like this are coming, there's no lockdown.
Well, it's really unfortunate that We have talked about the ADF for so long, and they have not realized themselves that one single individual will never be able to get Ambazonians to where they are supposed to be. If the ADF, if they had any intelligence of this visit, and they felt like the Ambazonian revolution needs to move forward, they should have coordinated this with all the other forces, with all the other teams who are fighting for this same revolution, and say, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to plan this. You cannot put a lockdown without any enforcement. What are you going to do? Are you just going to tell the people to stay out and open the roads for the guys to come in? We should be looking at lockdown with some consequences on those who are going to violate it. So the ADF have been doing all this, and you are going to see it when the campaign is going to get heated in our territory. ADF is going to put lockdown and open the road just for those who are going out to campaign. They did that in Momo at one point. They've done that in other areas in Ambazonia. So it is time for us, the true freedom fighters, to have our plan in our back pocket on how we are going to enforce this lockdown, because this is really what is going to determine where we need to be in 2 years from today, because we have the best opportunity, we have the moment in our hands to create that atmosphere where no La Republic, nobody can impose anything on us. We are going to put lockdown. We're going to have actions that will be carried out on those who are going to violate this lockdown. So if the French felt like they were going to enter Ambazonia and leave, but they should know we are waiting for them. They should try this going forward, because we are going to put the plans together on what is going to happen from now till October of 2025, because we know the elections might come up during that period. It's not going to be business as usual. This is a defining moment for the Ambazonian struggle. And even if the people will say Ambazonia is divided, this is a moment that people are going to come together, put all their cards on the table, and plan accordingly. If we have a lockdown for 1 day, this 1 day will be a lockdown, not for specific people or not to let La Republic walk into our territory. Talking about lockdown for some of these things that ADF has been doing is just so pathetic and unfortunate, because if the people who say they are the cabal that is running the ADF, they had a conscience, they should have been thinking, we've been fighting this war for how many years? Excuse me, we've lost generals who demonstrated real action on the ground. We had people like Mba Ivo. We have had people like Chacha, Field Marshal the King. When they carried on those high missions in Ambazonia and they were taken out by enablers, we never put a lockdown. We did not punish our people for those deaths. We know at the end of the day, we Ambazonians are going to celebrate these heroes that fought for the Ambazonian revolution. But at this moment, there is some kind of a game that is going on within the ADF, because you cannot tell me somebody like Alaji, somebody like Efang, who we know the pain he has put on the people of Ambazonia. And one thing one of my friends was telling me, when in 2017 or 18, Efang was arrested by the restoration forces of Momo. There are videos out there. He was arrested at one point for some of his atrocities. The guy sat down and said, you are our brother. We cannot be doing this to each other. They forgave Efang. But what happened, Efang came back and killed most of those forces, buried some of them alive. So if we are fighting with a conscience because we want to safeguard our people, but somebody is out there destroying, making sure we do not move forward, but they come up to give a lockdown, punishing the people, then it's so pathetic, because this is unforgivable, what this ADF have been doing to the people of Ambazonia. But one thing is clear, What goes down, what goes up must come down. One of our neighbor used to tell his son that if a bird can fly that have wings and still find a tree to land on, then don't think that you're going to go too far. You're going to come back to me one day. Ayaba can do whatever he's doing. His team can keep doing this to the Ambazonian people, but this revolution was not started for this kind of game. We are going to win and we're going to succeed without Ayaba or with Ayaba. Whichever way, Ambazonia is going to succeed.
Thank you, Chairman Patrick. That was a good one there. SOS, Mike, we talked about this brief last time, but look at this way. We have events happening in Ambazonia. We have mountain race. We have different events that are happening. Even this visit of this ambassador, the French ambassador. But we don't see any lockdown from any the ADF guys who are locking down. Our poor women who are making their market, the Nguzan women, they are those people going to sell their little goods. The people who are trying to make ends meet, they go and put them on lockdown. Now, what do you think these guys are trying to achieve? When somebody like this is coming to BAMENDA, right? We need to see lockdown. That is when Ambazonia will say, yes, ADF is doing a good job. Lockdown when we have this kind of people visiting BAMENDA. Lockdown when we have SDO who go and be talking in front of the market. There is no lockdown. That is when we want lockdown. Lockdown is not to lock down the poor people who are making their businesses.
I will start by saying that you may have the best tool in your toolkit, but if you overuse it or you use it the wrong way, it loses its effectiveness. You must make sure that even if the lockdowns were effective in certain scenarios, it cannot be the go-to tool that you just use. Anything you pull out a lockdown, everything you pull out a lockdown, it loses its importance. It does not become that effective tool that we're supposed to have anymore because you have abused it. And that is what is happening here. The way they are using the lockdowns now, very, very soon, the relevance of the lockdowns will not be felt by the people anymore. But because they will start seeing it as an inconvenience. Or instead of being a tool that we pull out when it is really necessary to use it. That is what these people are now doing. So with regards to the lockdowns, the question I would like for those who call these lockdowns, first of all, to explain what the anticipated objective of the lockdown is. What do you intend to gain by the imposition of a lockdown? Did you sit down and actually think about it, about what you want to gain out of it before imposing it? Or you just get up one day and just say, oh, let's declare a lockdown. Okay, a lockdown. Okay, for what purpose? At the end of it, what have you gained? Yeah. What is the feeling of the population towards the lockdown? Because the lockdown will only be as effective going forward as the population is willing to accept that this is necessary. Because if they start defying it en masse, it will become difficult for you to control it. You may go out and you try to use violence, but violence against a huge crowd may not be as effective too. But that is not the way it's supposed to be. These lockdowns are supposed to be used in collaboration with the population so that the population accepts it as a means of fighting this struggle. It cannot be used now as something to punish the population, which is what we saw in Guzan, where people could not go out and sell their produce in the market. And you saw people's their stuff just going rotting away like that. And you ask yourself, okay, but what is the net benefit on the other side? Because it's like a scale. It's like a scale. What are you getting from this lockdown as compared to all this stuff that is going bad? And you find that the one side is light. The benefit is very light. And the price is very heavy. That is not the way it's supposed to be. The price is heavy, but the benefit very thin. You cannot imagine that a criminal like Efang would die, and then you go out and punish the very people whom Efang was persecuting when he was alive. What sense is there in imposing such a condition on the people when the people were rejoicing that this menace has been removed at last, and then you go out and you punish them for it? There was no justification for such a lockdown, and there are still other lockdowns whose rationale I don't see, like the one in Bafut. I don't see why there was a 1 week lockdown in Bafut. There was no need for it. There was no need for it. If anything, maybe 1 day, not 1 week. What is the net benefit again of the lockdown as compared to the inconvenience on the people? You always have to weigh that and make the better choice.
Thank you.
That's what we wanted to go through.
Yes, let's dive into this next topic of elections, because we are seeing election coming up, and even though it doesn't concern us, but we don't want it in our territory. We don't want any election in our territory. For the past years, we have seen the failure and the deception of this election. We have seen how it's one party system. There's no election going on where one party keep winning and winning. So why is there any election? There is what we call selection. We don't want any selection in Ambazonia or election in Ambazonia. So we are saying that if there will be a lockdown, this is when the interim government, the groups, the activists are saying in one voice. We have heard all the activists in one voice. We have heard the interim government also said this election in Ambazonia will be a test, a referendum for the people of Ambazonia. Chairman Patrick, what measure do you think can be used to really enforce this? Because you mentioned this before, but enforcement is very important.
Comrade, like I said, we have fought for 8 years, and 2024, 2025 is decisive for us. And I'm going to say this, I don't think there's any way the La Republic is going to hide. We are going to start, I'm going to put it my own way. I know the defense apparatus is going to put their structures and their plans together. But if we are going to start by looking at if anybody in Ambazonia put their name that they are running for any political office in La Republic, they are going for exile, and we are going to demolish their properties. That will be the first test. If your name comes up on any list in Ambazonia, that is where we're going to start. And we are going to tell the Ambazonian people, when all the Ambazonian factions come together and plan, we're going to decide if it's going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, or a month lockdown when they announce their elections. Because even a fly in Ambazonia during that period will become a target. Because when we say no movement, the whole Ambazonia is going to be paralyzed. Even though they are talking about sometimes they can do Limbe, Boya, and all those places. But I'll tell you, if every Ambazonia have the mind that we have today, and we are determined to fight to the end, this is a decisive moment for all of us. We need to put every dime that we have on the ground. If every Ambazonian liberator come up and say, between now and October of 2024, I'm going to raise enough money, 2-3 million, to sponsor one fighter, just one, with everything they need, and every way I can support. If you come up with 2-3 million between now and September of this year, you will be ready. And let's take 50-200 Ambazonians come up with this amount of money. We have enough time to plan for this. Nobody should even give any excuses. And I know some of us are going to have time to advise the defense apparatus on certain things that we are not going to say on live video. But I will tell you, this is decisive. This is a do or die, because we're going to take it. Either the whole land become fire or the whole land is going to be peace. That is the only way we're going to get La Republique to understand that we have been serious for this number of years. In 2018, La Republique was able to do their sham election on the other side. They gathered a few people, met at the Ayaba Hotel, met in some council halls, and said they did elections in Ambazonia. But unfortunately, they are still running around there. But this is the moment that everybody in Ambazonia who say, I am fighting, and I'm saying this because I know I myself, I will raise that amount to prepare, if it's 5, 10 fighters, if I can come up 5 million, 10 million, I will give it to these fighters and say, boy, my brother, this is a moment for us to get Ambazonia, and we have to make sure no fly is in the Ambazonian territory for the time that is going to be stipulated by these fighting groups.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Chairman Patrick. We see this phenomenon of these people trying to tell the international community that things are going back to normal. There's election and there's this and that. But when we look at it in the form of the killing of these 4 Elekam officials in Garwa, SOS Mike, you heard about this. This election will be a referendum for Ambazonia. The killing of the 4 Elekam officials in Garwa is a signal to tell us that the La Republique people will not take it lightly. If there will be a replacement, or whether it's Frank Bia or whoever comes on, the Northeast are ready, the Bamileke are ready, and the other regions are also ready to say enough is enough of this 41 years of failure, 41 years of dictatorship. Chairman, SOS Mike, I think you know better about this incident that happened in Marwa or Garwa, where they killed 4 Elekam officials who went to establish their office there.
Well, what I would say is this. I hope that at last La Republique Cameroon citizens will take their heads out of the beer bottle and do what is needful to correct what has been going on in their country. And I hope that what happened in Garwa is the beginning. And you will all see that such a thing will happen in Garwa or Marwa and not anywhere down the south center, because there is just a difference. The mindset there is completely different. So I'm more trusting that maybe those up there may do something, but let's hope that they do what is needful to fix their country. But that is not our problem. My problem is what happens in Ambazonia. And like you were asking, what we need to do to make it clear that this election is not allowed in our territory. What I would say is this, as Chairman Patrick was saying there, it is not difficult at all to send that message. I think this will be one of the easiest things for us to do. The only thing is, the question is, are we committed to do it? Are our operatives on the ground disciplined, focused? Do they know what the mission is? Do they know what their responsibilities are? If they know and they're determined and focused, it is very easy, because there will be. It's like you go to the fish pond, to the river to fish, and there are plenty of fishes. There will be plenty of fishes out there for us to send a message to the Republic that, look, this thing is not. We don't want this thing. There will be plenty. There will be a lot of opportunities for us to send that message. We just have to be focused on the right targets and stop acting the fool that we have seen in the past few months, because our boys have been acting the fool. Okay? They have been acting like idiots. They need to be focused and know what the mission is and stay on course. Do what they should be doing. To those, they should be doing it too. That is what they should be doing. If they do that, it will be very easy. It will be very easy with a minimum of cost and effort. The message will be sent. So I don't know what else to say, Chairman Fritz, but This is what we should start driving into the heads and minds of our operators on the ground. If you are a restoration fighter on the ground, worthy of a name, the restoration fighter, this is when we need to see you stand up and do what is necessary to defend our land. This is the time to prove that you know what you're doing, that you are not just confused. Leave our people alone. They are not the problem. The problem is La République du Cameroon, criminal soldiers, and their agents operating in our territory. All of their agents, their representatives, the so-called government officials, DOs, governors, electoral agents, because what is that fake office name? And one thing that those who may want to go out and take part in this sham of an election would need to ask themselves is this: do you honestly believe that in La République du Cameroon now, as it is, that it is possible to conduct a free and fair election? That is the first question you should ask yourself. Do you honestly believe that given the structures that exist in that country now and those controlling those structures, is it possible to conduct a free and fair election in La République du Cameroon? If the answer is no, then it is incumbent on you to make sure that you do not become part of it, because you will be enabling the deception, the fraud that we have seen for all these years. That is it. Can you and if say someone like Frank Biya were president, do you honestly believe that he would do anything that can change your life for the better? These are the critical questions that our people need to ask themselves. When you sit there and allow someone to come and give you a bottle of beer, a bottle of oil, some salt, and then go away for 7 years, and then you have to suffer for 7 years and wait for that person to come. I mean, how much longer do we have to allow ourselves to be used as idiots?
SOS, I want to say that our final point will still be this aspect of patriotism and nationalism. When we see Ambazonians who are nationalists or who are patriots, we compare it to those people in the La République. Do we want to be in the same pot of soup of this failed state, or do we want to create something for ourselves that we call a very successful democracy? That is a question we have to start asking ourselves. The question between being a patriot or being a nationalist. Are you a nationalist or are you a patriot? Patriots are people who want to see change, who really love their country. We don't want to be like the La République people who allow one president for 41 years. We don't want to have that kind of governance. We don't want that kind of governance. Chairman Patrick, can you weigh in on this issue about patriotism and nationalism? How do you compare the behavior of La République people for the last 41 years with the behavior of the Ambazonian people who are fighting for their country? The Ambazonian people are patriots, while the La République people are nationalists.
Well, comrades, this is just going to dive us into what has been happening in Africa the past 4 or 5 years. You have seen a breed of African youths that have demonstrated that their patriotic aspiration has come to light, and they have accepted whatever fate that befalls at their countries. We have seen the military taking over some African countries. When I look at this, when I think it was in late 2000 when Yahya Jammeh was president of Namibia or something, Gambia, he was using every tactics to stay as president. But a young guy from London came in, ran for elections, and the diaspora in that country came out en masse to make sure they change their country. And today, Gambia is a democracy. We have seen the same thing happen in 2024 in Senegal. Yeah. Senegal is next door to the Gambia. And if you look at it, the diaspora played a key role to demonstrate the patriotic values that they have all learned being in this foreign land. So if La Republic of Cameroon citizens want to stay as slaves, want to leave, if they enjoy it, that is for their good. But we as Ambazonians, we have taken the leap of faith. We are going to fight or die trying. That is simple. We have fought for 8 years, and we are fighting and dying for our own land. We are not fighting to die for La Republic. We are dying because we are patriots. I will always give an example. In 2013, I was in that land, and that was the first time I went home with my family and my children. I was driving from BAMENDA to the southwest, and I was stopped at Kongsamba by a police officer. He started asking me questions. I presented everything, and when he saw my U.S. passport, he said, for him, he thought maybe I don't understand a single word in French. He went back and told his guy, c'est un Américain, on va gagner 20 000 ici. So those guys kept me on the road for 2 hours. And I told them straight up, I'm not giving you a dime. But I told them I had a meeting to be in Limbe. That guy would not listen to me for anybody. We sat there. So at the end, I said, okay, I need to get your names because I'm not going to sit here and wait for those documents, but I'm going to leave. But you tell me where your barrack is. I'll come meet your supervisor and get my documents. They said, oh, we don't do this. But I took my camera. I took a video of all of them. I said, I'm going to leave. You guys will meet. I will meet you, or I'm going to go to your boss, and they will present me who you guys are, and I'll get the documents on my car. That is how these people treat you. When I went back and I was about to get into my car, the guys, they came and started begging. They said I should withdraw, I should get that camera out, I should take the video out and all that stuff. They gave me my documents and I had to leave after spending 2.5 hours on the road. They have no care about humanity. My children, that was the first time they went to Africa. My children cried because if they tried to use the restroom, there was no restroom. And I was standing on the side of the road. Where could I go? Nowhere. So that is how these people treat their own citizens. If I was one of their citizens, that is how they treat people. They don't care. They are not there as law enforcement. Everybody goes to the police force in Cameroon or military or whatever they go into for their own personal gain. They don't go there as patriots. We as Ambazonians, we are building a patriotic society. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that we don't have rogue fighters in Ambazonia that did grow up in that mentality that we are going to work so hard to change it. We are going to make Ambazonia to be a place where you can drive from one corner of the town to the other without fear that somebody is going to stop you. But we'll make it simple for everybody to get every document that you need. Your car is going to be roadworthy. You are going to be legal to move in that country, and we are going to make sure patriotism will be of the day, not nationalism. And this tribalistic tendency is not going to work when we get to Ambazonia, because we know those things that were done to divide us and say, oh, you are from this region. That is going to be over. We are going to work as Ambazonians and work as people from one country. So patriotism is going to be the norm of Ambazonia, not nationalism.
Thank you. Our last topic is going to be the illegal arrest of the Nera 10 and how there is outcry of the international community, the Nigerian High Court, and we heard even the CRTV even reported that it was.
Chairman Fritz, Chairman Fritz,
Yes.
if I may
Yes.
just come in there about this democracy thing, just one last thing about this democracy thing. I think
Okay, go ahead.
democracy is a system which, when properly applied as intended, can yield positive results. But when democracy is not applied as intended, the results can be very disastrous. And that is what we have seen in Africa most of the times. Because it now has become a tool in the hands of dictators to continue to buy patience from the public. That, look, just be patient. Despite the fact that we rigged the election this time, we promise you we will not rig it next time, but yet they still rig it the next time, and the next time, and the next time. It now becomes, they continue to rig. Like Paul Biya, you know, at one time he said, "Oh, I'm only going to run for 2 terms, 2 7-year terms, and after that I'm done. I won't run again." Then after that, what happened? He completely went against his own signature and ran yet again. And at that time, he did not even give any term limits again. You see, so democracy has been used in Africa like oil or honey that is put in a corked bottle. It is put in a corked bottle, and they are asking you to leak it from outside. You're trying to leak this honey, this nice honey. You can see it inside this clear bottle. It looks really nice, but you cannot reach it because these dictators have cocked it. So it becomes this beautiful thing which cannot be used because access to it has been prevented by those that are supposed to allow it to flourish. And it has pushed me to ask this question, whether maybe it is time for Africa to come up with its own system of governance, formulate something. Maybe you add some democratic aspects of it and some other aspects of it. I don't know. Maybe we'll take another program to discuss it. Because I have seen the abuse of democracy in Africa, and it is producing very disastrous results. Say, for example, even what happened in Nigeria, it's a disgrace that at this point in time, we are still going through that. Democracy has not served Africa well. And the tragic thing there is that those that introduced to us this democracy are the ones making it possible for democracy not to flourish in Africa. For example, why is it that France has never, ever encouraged any French president to extend his term of office, right? But when they come to Africa, they will tell Paul Biya, just stay there. When they go to Chad, they say, just stay there. We go to Senegal, they say, don't need to respect your constitution or Ivory Coast. But you have never heard that a French president has changed the constitution to extend his term of office. You have never heard it happen in Germany. It has never happened in America. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump is going through hell now because he dared. He dared. He's in court right now trying to free himself. But yet when they come to Africa, they push these people. They say, just change the constitution and continue to rule. And then they still call it democracy. It cannot be democracy when you cannot respect the rules. Democracy is like a formula. You use the formula as it was initially written by whoever came up with that formula. When you go and fidget with that formula, the result will no longer be the same. That is what we are seeing in Africa when it comes to democracy. And that is what we must not accept.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go to the last part because, in short, there's no democracy in Africa. There's no democracy in Cameroon. Nothing like that. You know, there's just selection. They just select who they want, and anybody that is aligned with them, and they have their camaraderie link. Who belong to this party? Who align to this? It's just one party system. If there's one party system, then there's no election. Why do you run for election when there's one party? There's no opposition.
Or why should you have an election already know who the winner is? Why
Yes,
are we even wasting time? Why are we
so it's
wasting
just
time?
selection. They just have their list already. They just go through that list and they just put people there. So why do they call it election? You know. Now let's go to the last part of our show. We're going to be talking about the illegal and the illegal arrest of our Nera 10 leaders and the other guys who were arrested in Nigeria. And we have seen the United Nations, even CRTV even reported this. And we also see the Nigerian High Court, even the Nigerian Parliament is trying to talk about this. So we are seeing this trend because when it happened, the Nigerian court passed a judgment that all these leaders should be sent back to Nigeria because they were illegally arrested. Okay? Because you don't go and arrest asylum seekers. You don't do that. Nobody will go to a country and arrest asylum seekers who are seeking asylum, running from that same rogue regime. You go there and arrest them. It doesn't work like that. So we are saying that we are going to be talking about this. Chairman Patrick, what legal ramification do you think can because La Republic has never respected any international accord. So do you think they can respect this time around?
Well, Comrade Fritz, I want to tell you, La Republic, they are on the hot seat. And most people do not see how international diplomacy works. If you watch what has been happening since maybe the early part of March, or you've seen that the Nigerian Parliament or the Nigerian Senate, they had a hearing about the arrest and detention of our leaders. You've heard their news outlet talking about it. Now the public news outlet, the United Nations. This is diplomacy at work. It's not just happening out of a blue. There is a force behind it. And eventually you're going to see some actions. La Republic is not going to be above all the other international actors. If that was the case, Libya had everything. And all the other countries that have changed, they had everything. But when it gets to that point, look at what is going on in Venezuela. Venezuela is on a hot seat. There might be a total change in Venezuela. So let's not take it as a light fight that is coming up within the international community and La Republic. The Nera 10 are going to get some justice. It might be 2 months, 6 months, 8 months from now. Justice is going to prevail and diplomacy is going to work its course when it comes to the case of the Nera 10, because you saw like the US, they don't say much about what is going on in La Republic, but you see the US Secretary of State is met with Nigeria, met with Senegal, and met with Ivory Coast. These are powerhouses in Africa. And what is going on in Nigeria is not just because Nigeria decided one day that we want to start talking about it. Somebody said something to them that means something, and they are respecting the laws of the international community. Recently, there was a simple scenario where one of whether it was not Nicaragua or one of those countries, or El Salvador, one of their vice president ran into the Mexican embassy in that country, and those people violated the international law by going in there after about 4 months that the guy was given political asylum. He was still in that country, but they made a mistake and went in there to go arrest that guy. Look at what has happened to them. All the international bodies have withdrawn their ambassadors from that country for violating international law. There are certain things you can do. There are certain things you cannot do. La République de Cameroon La Republic has taken so many chances. They've broken so many laws. But this one with the Nera 10 is not going to happen. Justice is going to take its course, and you're going to see them being released from La Republic into Nigeria, and maybe beyond. And the Republic is going to pay for it. They are going to
Yeah.
pay for doing what they did.
Yes, that was the verdict by the Nigerian High Court that they should even pay them, they recompense them, give them some compensation, and being sent back to Nigeria. That was the verdict of the Nigerian High Court. Chairman, SOS Mike, I think we have to conclude with this. Your own take about this Nera 10 and how you think that La Republic can be pressured to release the Nera 10 and let's go for negotiation, because it's all linked together. Their release is tied to the negotiation of the Ambazonian struggle.
Yes. Let me start by saying that I'm really hopeful, and I really wish that the aspirations as expressed by Chairman Patrick come to pass. I'm really hopeful because, first of all, let's understand that these are people that were picked up in a foreign land and then illegally transported to La Republic of Cameroon and quickly rushed through their so-called military tribunal for crimes that we don't even know. And they have been languishing in jail for no reason. So let us first of all have that in perspective. Now, when it comes to what will happen going forward, the question then is, who is going to bring pressure to bear on La Republic of Cameroon? Nigeria? I don't know if Nigeria has the clout that can bring that much pressure on La Republic. Given, understand France's involvement in business in Nigeria. Is Nigeria willing to go against its interests, business interests with France in Nigeria in order to get the Nera 10 members released? Because everything is interest, comrades. So I'm not as hopeful as Chairman Patrick is that there will be any pressure if maybe the United States step in and say, you know what, this thing must be concluded. But given the relationship between France and Nigeria at this point in time, I doubt that Nigeria, their high court can say whatever they want. But remember that it was with the permission of the Nigerian government that these asylees were transported from Nigeria to La Republic of Cameroon clandestinely. It was not done through the normal methods. These are people who were there as refugees, and you come there, you simply bundle them with their eyes blindfolded, held incommunicado, and brought to your country and rushed in. What crime did they commit in La Republic of Cameroon that warranted La Republic to try them there and sentence them to jail? What was their crime on the soil of La Republic of Cameroon? They were not on your soil. So what crime did they commit? And that is why you see that La Republic always tries these people in their military tribunal, because the process is just murky, it is rushed. The witnesses are not interrogated as in a civil court. There's the access to their lawyers is kind of limited, if at all it exists at all. So it's just, it's a situation. I'm not very optimistic. I am not very optimistic that they will get the kind of attention that is deserved to make sure that they are released. Not just them alone, but many others who are languishing in their jails. But especially their case is peculiar because they were picked from a foreign land and brought in there. They should not have been picked up in the first place. So that is how I feel about it. I am not very optimistic, but I hope that maybe there will be a silver lining somewhere that can cause them to be set free.
Thank you, Chairman Patrick. Your last words.
Well, just to add to what Chairman Mike is saying there, one thing we have to start looking at diplomatically for my age, I've witnessed that every time a new president is elected in Nigeria, the first country that they visit is in Cameroon. But since Tinubu came to power, you've not seen him in Cameroon. So you can start thinking, What is going on that the president of Nigeria has not been to Cameroon? He's been to other neighboring African countries, but he has not been to Cameroon. That means there is a little bit of an argument somewhere about something. So we need to start looking at the big picture of what goes on in that little area. So, but my last word is to the Ambazonian people. We have the opportunity. If you look at what has been going on for the past 8 years, when we started this revolution, I will tell you there were moments that we had the APP meeting with 400, 500 persons, but today we do not have that many people still attending this meeting. You can start a race and you are the first, but if you do not finish if you do not get to the finish line, you do not run that race. Let's think about what we have done. It's just that you go and poke the honey or the beehive and you stand there, the bee has been stinging you, and you decide, oh, I'm going to push the bee back in there and then just stand where I'm supposed to be, instead of making sure you burn it down until the bee can stop stinging you. We have done so much. We fought really hard. There have been disagreements. There have been internal fighting. But this is the moment I will challenge and I will call on every Ambazonian to come up and say, 2024 is the moment for me to raise even $200, $300, $400, $500 every month to October of this year or December of this year. I should be able to have maybe $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $7,000 that I would give in for the Ambazonian fight. Give it to say I'm sponsoring 2, 3, 4 fighters. If we can get 400, 500 people determined to see this fight, we have just this opportunity. We stop this election wholeheartedly. We get anybody that even an Elencam vehicle cannot even step foot in Ambazonia, even their workers, anything. This will determine where we go. Because unfortunately, the North have already demonstrated they don't want to see Elencam in their territory. What does that say? This morning I read a short story about Marafa Yaya. He has not spoken for a very long time. Now he's talking. What are you learning from it? He was saying, oh, Pobia has plunged this country to the lowest point ever, and this is going to be the end of Cameroon. So just think that they know this. They are not stupid. They have been building their own fight. But Cameroon, or whatever they call it, it's not going to be divided into two. It's going to be into 3 pieces. If the Bassa or Douala people can join Iwondo and the rest, let them join and do whatever they want to do. Because I know, even though by many cases they are not supporting the Ambazonian revolution, they are going to be the people that will be running to stay with Ambazonia when the moment comes. Because they are not welcome in their territory in La Republique. So again, every Ambazonian, it's time to keep your powder dry, because we are going to use it. Keep your powder dry, we're going to use it.
Thank you. And SS Mike, your last words.
Well, I just would like to encourage us to be refocused. There's a lot happening, a lot of moving pieces that are showing that things are about to change in La Republique du Cameroon, and we can only be ready to take advantage of opportunities that are beginning to open up if we have the tools and the resources to do so. So, as Chairman Patrick has said, if you have been out of the struggle for some time, this is the time to step back in and take up the responsibility of sponsoring somebody on the ground, like those who are doing the actual fighting. We know that there have been some rogue elements on the ground causing havoc, but I think we are all rising up against them and trying to put them where they belong. So, but let us give the good ones the resources to rise up and fill those posts. The good ones that are out there, let us give them the tools to rise up and do the right things. That the bad ones that are being pushed out are creating the opportunity for them to now do what should be done or should have been done in the first place. So commit yourselves, join in the contributions that are going on. The platforms are out there. The interim government has a 200 member club and other opportunities where you can chip in and support this struggle. These things that we are talking about, stopping the so-called election, it will need resources to do that. And some people just sit out there and say, okay, but why are you not doing this? You cannot do it with your bare hands. Just because somebody is there as a leader, you can only lead when you have people behind you helping you to do the leading. So again, keep your eyes wide open. Do not allow yourself to be manipulated into taking part in the so-called election. There is no election in La Republic of Cameroon. It is a coronation. They have a coronation, not an election. They already know who they want to lead their country. They will just do everything possible to present that person and make some kind of occasion that is called an election, but it will not be representative of the will of the people, because the structures that are in place in that country will not allow that to happen. The will of the people will not be respected. So why allow yourself to be used in that way? And for those who have been going to the DDR Center, well, you heard the testimony from somebody who has lived the experience and is regretting it today. So if you still think that is a good thing, you go and submit yourself to such a situation. Oh, good luck to you. And I hope it works out for you. So again, it's good that we have people watching. Share this program so others can benefit from the information that we're put out here. Again, Chairman Fritz, it was good for you to step in and do this today. Much appreciated. And to Chairman Patrick, again, it is this volunteerism to come in and share these ideas so that our people can benefit from and know what to do, because sometimes people are actually just confused on ground zero. They don't know what to do. So they depend on this information that we put out there to be able to make the right decision. So I encourage us all to be more participatory and be willing to make the necessary sacrifices to inform our people as we continue with this march towards our liberation. Thank you.
Thank you, the wonderful panelists. Today was wonderful discussion that we had. Fellow viewers, you are watching Face the People by Comrade Fritz Misodi. This show, a brief of the program was about talking about the false information that mefo put out there about the killing in Kambe on 11th of February. And she retracted and said that that incident was done by the Gala Gerard vigilante group. Okay, it was not done by the Ambazonian restoration fighters. And also the DDR guy, who most of them have been sent to Kondegi. So one of them was just speaking about his experience, how they have been sent to do the killings, the massacre, all the Scotch Ed policy, and most of the other incident that has been happening around Ambazonia has been done by some of these guys with the military. Okay, and also the ban of the election in Ambazonia. We talk about the ban, and all the activists, all the groups, the interim government is ready for a very, very serious lockdown. This is when we will see the ADF, who say they know how to do lockdown. This is where we want to see how they can lock down when there's election. Not time when people, poor women are going to market, their crops are being destroyed, and so on and so forth. We want to see the ADF come and lock down during the election time. Okay. Now they will also talk about the French ambassador visit to BAMENDA, and also we talk about the outcry of the release of the Nera 10 by the United Nations, the Nigerian government, and also the international community. So thank you for watching. We'll keep fighting because we have no other home than Ambazonia. All right, let's keep fighting for our country. Let's keep fighting for the rights of our people. and let's keep that message going. Thank you for watching.